Hello everyone, my name is Jose Maria Orellana. I'm a PhD student at the Geological Survey of Spain, and I'm going to present my communication entitled A Comparative Approach to Groundwater Pollution Hazard Indexes, from Methodology to Reality. If you're watching this video, it's because something went wrong and I'm not able to present online, so I want to apologize in advance and I hope you all are well. This communication is based on a research published a few months ago. You can find the full version of the paper online for free following the journal's website. Well, in the context of groundwater pollution, a hazard is defined as a potential source of contamination resulting from human activities. Groundwater is key for human supply worldwide. 50% of the global population depends on it to satisfy their basic daily water needs, and this proportion increases to 75% in the European Union. The expansion of human activities have increased the pressure over these resources. As a consequence, according to some researches, in 2010, 20% of the world's aquifers were overexploited, and 38% of the European water bodies were under agricultural pollution threat. Anthropogenic pressures might last for a long time, and they do not only increase pollutant concentration, but also slow down the quantity and quality of the recovery rates in polluted aquifers. Once groundwater becomes polluted, contamination persists, and it's difficult to remove it due to their accumulation, long residence time, or the physical inaccessibility. So prevention is essential, not only from an ecological, but also from an economical point of view. In this context, hazard, vulnerability, and risk assessment studies are very useful tools for decision makers, but they also have to be reliable since many water management policies rely on them. In relation to this idea, we aim to analyze the effectiveness of three groundwater hazard indexes and to assess its potentialities and weaknesses in order to compare and define their suitability for mapping groundwater hazard pollution. To do so, we selected the Gallo Canta Basin as our study area. The Gallo Canta Basin is a 540 square kilometers endorheic plateau located in the southern boundary of the Ebro Basin, in northeast Spain. It is a very rural and agricultural area. The estimated population is less than 2,000 inhabitants, with small villages and scattered settlements related to agriculture and livestock. In green, we can see the natural areas, and in brown, the arable land, which is the predominant land use. Those arable land are the main source of pollution, especially nitrates. In green, we can see the irrigated areas, and in brown, the rain-fed lands. Following the Nitrate Directive, in 1997, the area was declared as a nitrate vulnerable zone to pollution from agricultural sources due to the high nitrate concentration observed in groundwater. We decided to apply three hazard indexes: the hazard index proposed by De Ketteler et al. In 2004, the Danger Contamination Index proposed by Civita and De Mayo in 1997, and the Pollutant Origin Surcharge Hydraulically proposed by Foster et al. In 2002. All of them are based on a categorization of the potential sources of pollution, which are classified according to their harmfulness. Therefore, the first step was to list all the activities that could be pollutant. When we had this information, we applied the indexes by classifying each activity according to the specific methodology, and we mapped the results. Finally, we compared the results of each index. However, since each index has different methodological approaches, we applied the standardization of the scores in order to enable comparison. In the table, it can be seen that we classified the hazard score from 1 to 10, and we distinguished 5 intervals, from very low to very high potential of pollution. As I already mentioned, the first step was to make an inventory of the potential sources of pollution in the area. We distinguished between punctual sources and non-punctual sources. Among the punctual sources, most of them are related to urban, transport, and agricultural activities, and the non-punctual sources are divided between agricultural lands and urbanization areas. These maps show the hazard classification before and after the standardization of the hazard index. There is no difference between maps, since both methods are based on a 5-interval scale. In this case, most of the activities are classified in the low level, and only the discharge point of urban wastewater reaches the moderate level. In the Danger Contamination Index, rain-fed lands are classified in the moderate level, whereas irrigated areas are classified in the high level. Regarding to the punctual sources, the slurry tanks are the only source included in the very high level. And finally, in the Pollutant Origin Surcharge Hydraulically, urban areas and rain-fed agricultural lands are in the low level, whereas irrigated lands, here in red, are in the very high level. Additionally, both slurry tanks and farms are the punctual sources in the high level. After the analysis, we are able to reach several conclusions. First, we can say the indexes are thought to be applied in a wide range of environments, but the list of hazards considered in each index is variable. The hazard index includes many sources of pollution, which allows to be quite accurate when mapping, whereas the danger contamination index and the pollutant origin surcharged hydraulically are less detailed. We also observed differences related to the rating of hazards. The hazard index tended to classify most of the agricultural sources in the low hazard level, whereas the danger contamination index and the pollutant origin surcharged hydraulically include some of the sources at higher levels, for example, irrigated crops. As I said, all these methodologies were designed to be applied in different types of context. In comparison to agricultural and urban sources, which are indirectly related to the low hazard level, industrial activities are usually classified as the most pollutant sources. The low hazard level associated to most of the diffuse agricultural sources were based on the conceptual approaches of the indexes and on the idea of the lower persistence of the agricultural pollutants, especially compared to other types of substances like heavy metals or industrial sewage. However, whereas in industrial and urban areas the pollution is mostly punctual or linear, diffuse pollution from agriculture provides a slow but constant flux of pollutants to groundwater, which is hard to prevent and control. In spite of this, only the pollutant origin surcharged hydraulically considers intensive agriculture areas on the same level that the heavy industry activities, whereas the hazard index and the danger contamination index classify agriculture below moderate hazard level. This fact is contradictory with the current groundwater status in the Cayocanta Basin. After 20 years since the nitrate vulnerable zone declaration, nitrate concentration is still above the legal threshold of 50 mg per liter, and some sites even reach concentrations of 120 mg per liter. Those high concentrations have led to recurring cutoffs of drinking water supply in the area. Therefore, it can be concluded that these indexes tend to underestimate the harmfulness of non-punctual agricultural sources. Thank you very much for your attention.